The views expressed in this podcast are solely those of the participants. The hosts make no claim to be literary experts, and their opinions are exactly that, opinions. All creative works discussed or reviewed are the intellectual property of the creators of said stories and is being used under the fair use doctrine.
Welcome to Swords and Soulmates, a podcast where the hosts discuss romantasy stories. I'm Kelly, one of your hosts. This week, we've taken a segment out of the next show and made it into a bonus episode. Really, our discussion of the mid-year freak-out book tag questions was just too long to be trimmed down, and we thought it would make a fun bonus episode. Now, this was recorded during our review of The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Thirst, but there are no spoilers. Listen and give us your feedback on what your answers are to these fun questions. We'll be back next week with our regular episode where we review The Spell Shop
segment, but instead, because it's kind of the middle-ish of the year, there's a tag that I've seen on like Book Talk and Bookstagram and all this stuff. It's the mid-year freak out book tag. And it's basically a series of questions about, hey, it's kind of midway through the year. What's your reading been like? And so we have a series of questions. I think I'm just going to ask it and we can each answer, and then we'll go on to the next question and each answer rather than going through all of them. Does that sound okay?
No super in depth though.
Yeah, try to be not too in depth. All right, so first one. Best book you've read so far in 2024.
You first.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, best book. Well, The Wolf and the Witch one.
The Wolf Gone Wild?
Yep.
Juliet Cross?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ash?
Mine is empty. I don't know how to pick. It was
What if you had to narrow it down to like 3 or 5? What would you say?
That's so rapid fire.
That's so rapid. I have very recently been in love and obsessed with the Stay a Spell series with Juliet Cross.
Right.
You're going to hear her name a few times this list. I read all 5.5 books in just a couple of weeks.
They're
Super
so good.
obsessed.
So good.
Yeah. Mari?
For me, it was A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. It's a very short book. I read it at the beginning of the year. There's only 2 books in the series. It's a tea monk and a robot, and they go around and they're trying to figure out what humans need. It's beautiful. It's super short. Please read it. It's great. Kelly?
I would have to go with rereading the manga of Your Name, which was a animated anime movie that I loved, and the manga is just as good. And when all the volumes were re-released, I ordered them and reread them.
Nice. All right, next question. Best sequel you've read so far in 2024. Jonathan?
I don't know if I've read a sequel. I think everything's just kind of been like book number 1, so
Okay.
I'm blank there.
You can pass.
Yeah.
I Ashley is probably something by Juliet Cross. Just
Plot twist. No, it isn't. This one is not Juliet Cross. So I don't think I read this in 24, but I definitely read it in the last year. And it was the sequel, the book 2 for Crowns of Nyaxia. I forgot to write down the actual title of the book because it is a little lengthy, but hat off to Carissa Broadbent because that was such a great duology and now the world's expanding and I'm super stoked.
I really love that world so much.
Yeah.
Carissa Broadbent is just so good. Okay, so the second one is called The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King.
Yeah, that was a lot of words.
Yes. All right, so for me, the best sequel I've read so far in 2024 was the last book in the Throne of Glass series. I read the entire Throne of Glass series towards the beginning of the year, and they're all good. It's Sarah J. Maas, Throne of Glass, but like the last one where everything comes together, mwah, chef's kiss.
No, stuff it down. I haven't gotten there yet.
So good. So good. All right, Kelly?
I think I'm going to have to go with, it's a tie between reading Bookshops and Bone Dust, which I guess technically isn't a sequel but a prequel, or actually continuing the sequels of the 3 Dark Crowns series.
That was a good
Kadari Blake.
series.
Yeah. So good. All right, next question. New releases you haven't read yet, but want to. Jonathan.
I'm going to mess this title up. It's Dark Shadows. What's it called? Not the soap opera.
It's new releases.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Rebecca Yarros?
Yeah.
Onyx Storm?
That's the one.
It's not a new release. It's not out yet.
I haven't read it yet. It says new releases. I haven't read yet, but want to.
It hasn't been
That's
released
a new
yet.
release.
It's released in January of next year.
It's still new. I haven't
Sure.
read it yet, clearly.
You're so adorable.
Well, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Ash?
Ashley.
I have not read, but very much want to read When the Moon Hatched. And I know that you've read it, Maury.
Yes.
I know. I started and then I got overwhelmed, but I'm going to do it.
I would love for us to read that at some point on this podcast. I'm just going to put it out there. I know it's long, guys. It'll be on down the road, but yes, we need to read that.
Maybe
All right. For me, new releases I haven't read yet, but want to, is the 7th Duskwalker Bride book by Opal Rain. It's called A Soul to Protect. I read the first one last month, which was A Soul to Keep, and I'm obsessed. They were like 700 pages or something. And then I read book 2 and 3 this month so far. It's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing, but the beast never turns into the prince. He's just a beast. It's based on, the author got the idea from it off of that manga, Ancient Magus Bride. So you have this like creature that looks different depending on what it ate as it was being created. And it's so not human, and the world is very magical, and they're called the Dustwalkers, and then there's also demons, and there's humans, and there's demon slayers, and it's so good. I want to read the 7th one, but I have to get to it. The 7th one was just released, I think, last month. Kelly?
So, new releases I haven't read yet but want to is Apprentice to the Villain, because Mari enjoyed it so much, so I would like to read that if I get the chance.
We need to read that as a
But
podcast.
it's not been out yet, you boys.
No,
It's
it's
a
the
new
first
release
one.
that hasn't been out yet. Wait, hold
He's
on.
talking
He just
about the
said
first
Mari
one.
read it.
Oh. You want to read Assistant to the Villain.
Yes.
Oh, Assistant to the
Yeah,
Villain.
Apprentice is the sequel. Assistant is the
sorry,
first
my
one.
bad. Assistant to the Villain.
I was like, not again, these boys.
We need to read that as a group too. I think everyone would enjoy that one. Yeah.
Is it romantasy?
I think so. We need to put that on the list. That's going to be on the list. Okay. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year.
I got nothing. I have no idea what's coming in the second half. Color me
That's fine.
surprised.
I have 2, so it's okay.
Okay. I take Mari's second one.
So
Oh,
funny. So funny, my most anticipated release for the second half of the year is Apprentice to the Villain.
Hey.
And one of the questions later on that we'll come to, I really struggled with because I wanted to put Assistant to the Villain as the answer. And I came up with something else, but that book really grew on me. I was not super into it in the beginning. But then it was like I needed to know, right?
Yeah.
Like I was involved. And I think for me too, it was because it was the audiobook that made it super interesting. And also the author whose name I'm completely forgetting, please.
It's like
dear,
Hannah
forgive
something.
me.
I'm going to look it up in a sec.
Yeah, no, she is an amazing book talker. I think she has so much character, like herself as a human.
Hannah Nicole
big-
Mirror.
Big fan, Hannah.
HRER.
Big fan.
Yeah.
I've already pre-ordered the sequel.
Same.
And I just bought the first one because the edges are sprayed. We all know how Ashley feels about sprayed edges. So they will be book trophies. And I'm very excited for that one.
If there was a question or a category for book that has bounced off and on your TBR list the most, it was that book. I kept taking that book off my TBR because I kept hearing things about people not liking it, and then I would put it back on because I'm like, but it sounds cool, and then I
It's
take it back off.
quirky.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's workplace romance. Ugh, I don't like that. And then I
It's
would hear people
quirky.
love it, so like it bounced off and on. And then once I finally read it, I'm like, oh, love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
from my most anticipated release for the second half of the year, I couldn't pick, so I had 2. So I have my one for Jonathan. The first one is, of course, A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher, which is going to be released on the 6th of August.
Do
Love
they
T.
ever
Kingfisher.
sleep? Do they ever sleep? Like, I feel like a book is being released, or what does that library look like for TK Kingfish? Like,
I don't know. I don't have all her books, but I have all her. I have probably like
there's a lot.
90% of her books, and it's an entire shelf of I have a T. Kingfisher altar, entire shelf of my bookcase.
I think she's Alexander Hamiltoning it. Like
maybe she, I know, went through a big health scare last year and has had to go through some cancer treatments. So I wonder if this is stuff that was like
therapy.
Focused on being, released, and it was like, this is what she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the first one. And then the other one that I couldn't decide with is another author that I love. So Jonathan, this is your pick. It's called Evil in Me, and it's by Gerald Brom. Huh?
That's legit.
I was like, that tracks.
Yeah. Evil in Me. And it's Brom wrote the Krampus book Krampus Yule Lord, that I love. And he is a good writer. He also wrote, oh my God, what's the name of it's a witch book. Slewfoot. And he's a good author, but he also is an amazing artist. And he like paints these amazing imagery. So his books, you're reading them along, and then in the middle, there's these amazing like poster quality images that you just want to put up in a frame on the wall. He's as good a like museum quality artist as he is a writer. Evil in Me also takes place in like the punk scene in Atlanta. And I'm just like, all right, I'm down. I'm down for all of that. So those are my two because I couldn't pick one. Kelly?
The one book I really am looking forward to is The Leap Year Gene of Kit McKinley by Shelley Wood. And it's basically a girl is born with a gene mutation where she is essentially very slow to age because she only ages every 4 years because she was born on a leap day.
Ooh, interesting.
But because of the way she ages, she's basically being sought by everyone who want to study her and dissect her because they think like her genome somehow holds the key to like living longer or even time travel. So she's, being hunted by everyone. But a lot of people are alluding it to, it has the same kind of science fiction meets social commentary type book that The Time Traveler's Wife
That's
had.
what I was just thinking it reminded me of. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that book.
Okay. And now on a totally different emotional scope, your biggest disappointment this year of books.
The book that we read that was super rapey. What was that one called?
The Last Storm.
That's the one.
Yeah.
What's up? What do you got, Ash?
This one's going to be controversial. Are you guys ready?
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
ACOTAR. Book 1 was not it for me.
I believe it.
And there is a cult following for SJM, and I am part of it. All day, every day, no problem. But A Court of Thorns and Roses, I think took me 4 solid months.
Yeah.
To read. And
it's the weakest of the bunch, for sure.
I was disappointed. I was like, I don't get it. I don't know what... Mari, if you had not told me that the grass was greener in book 2, I would have DNF'd.
Yeah.
Like hard DNF. So that was my biggest disappointment, was ACOTAR.
Yeah, I definitely finished ACOTAR because I was like, what is everyone talking about? It finally gets good enough at the end, but I was like, oh my God. And then once you get to the other ones, you're fine. It's like, you have to take your medicine. You got to eat your medicine to get to the good part.
If you hadn't told me, no, it would have been a no for me. I would have been like, thank God you gave it to me to read, because I'm so glad I didn't buy that book.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is crack.
Like, the rest of it is amazing.
Can't get it in my system fast enough.
Yes. Biggest disappointment for me was This Is How You Lose the Time More by Amal El-Mohtar. It's not a very long book. It's a sci-fi book. It's a sapphic romance. I felt like I was having a stroke when trying to understand what was going on in this book. It's 2 time travelers who talk to each other through like weird, different communication methods. And there's supposed to be a through line plot. I am too stupid for the book, apparently. I did not get it. That was my biggest disappointment. Kelly?
So I also had to say, this is how you lose the time war. Because the concept sounded so good. It sounded so good. A asymmetrical time traveler type story sounded really good on paper. And I think some people, I guess, got it and enjoyed it, but I couldn't get it. It just wasn't for me at all. And the amount of hype it got was just so high, and it was so underwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. Biggest surprise.
The punny one about the wolf and the witch.
Wolf Gone Wild.
That's the one. That's the one. I
It did it for
really,
you?
yeah. Well, I was surprised. I was like, what? Oh, this is,
This doesn't suck.
yeah. What did you get, Ash?
For me, the biggest surprise was the Cruel Prince series.
Ooh.
I was actually toggling between Cruel Prince and Assistant to the Villain, because very similarly, at the beginning of and they were both audiobooks, which is funny, but reading and listening to them, I was not convinced, right, that this was going to be something that I enjoyed or that was noteworthy, much less a book trophy for me. But by the end of the first book of The Cruel Prince, I was addicted. And I needed to know what was coming next. And I did buy all the books. I did end up, so I listened to them on Libby for free. Yay, Libby. And then I very quickly purchased the books for my bookshelf. So that was a surprise for me, just because my initial feeling was that it wasn't going to be a winner.
Yeah, I love that. I love that book. And I always call it the Cruel Prince series, and it's not. It's the Folk of the Air series,
No,
I think is what it's called.
It is not. It is not. It is the Cruel Prince series.
It is? Oh, okay. So I'm wrong then. Yeah, Holly Black, Cruel Prince.
Are you sure?
Please
you may
read
not
it.
be wrong. Ashley may just
Ashley's made an executive decision.
Ashley just decided. So you don't.
Sorry, Holly Black.
Don't
Love
concede to Ashley.
Everyone who has ever heard talk about it, it's like the Cruel Prince series. That's all what everyone calls it. So
you. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like ACOTAR, right? Like
Right.
it is.
it is what
ACOTAR.
people call it. A rose by any other name.
Yeah.
Okay, biggest surprise for me, I've already mentioned it, was A Soul to Keep by Opal Rain. It is a Beauty and the Beast, style or retelling, I guess. It is basically classified as a monster romance, and as such, it may not be for everyone. Monster romances tend to be smut heavy, spice heavy, and this is a spice heavy book, but it was like 700 pages, and it felt like I blinked and I was done with it. Like I did not breathe finishing that book. It was very, very well told world, and I loved it. And I'm now on book 4 in that series. So, Kelly,
I think I would have to go with Wolf Gone Wild. It was definitely a book I didn't expect to enjoy, because I typically do not enjoy reading the vampire werewolf romance crap.
yay for Juliet Cross. Okay, favorite new author, debut or new to you?
I'm gonna go with Juliet Cross. Yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? Actually, strike that. Who do we talk to that I was enamored with?
Sebastian
Sebastian
Nothwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Sebastian was a very, very cool author.
Yes.
For sure.
That's who I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, author of Oak King,
Sebastian.
Holly King, amongst other books. Very good.
Yeah, I've been listening to his Antique Freaks podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time.
It's a good time. It's witty banter about old collectible shit. I dig it.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a good time with him.
Yeah, the rest of his
appreciate
books
good
are on my
banter, too.
TBR for sure.
I'm glad you changed your answer, because mine was Juliet Cross. I'm obsessed.
Cheater.
She's still cleaning up this award season.
Yes.
I'm obsessed. I read all 5 books plus the novella. Was it 5 or 6?
6
Now
books.
it's 6 books plus the novella, right? Because there's
Oh.
6 sisters.
That's right. There's a novella. Yeah, so you're right. So does that make it 7?
6.5.
Yeah, 6.5.
So I read them all. I read them all in a couple of weeks.
Quit bragging.
Very obsessively. I lost sleep.
Hashtag
over
word
it.
skipper.
Shut your face. And she does have more series, and I will gladly invest time, energy, and even money if I have to read them. So Juliette Cross is my favorite author.
Her newest series is coming out, and the new book is available for pre-order. That will be available to pick up at the Fabled Fantasy Con. It's like Wraith Kings.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money, Juliette Cross.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so favorite new author, I had a toss-up here between Opal Rain, which I've already waxed poetic about, and Tiffany Roberts, who wrote the Ensnared series. Is the husband and wife duo.
I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. So they're a toss-up.
They're on my list.
Yep. Kelly?
Like Jonathan, I'm actually going to have to go with Sebastian Nothwell. I enjoyed his Oak King, Holly King book, and yeah.
Nice.
never had heard of him before, and probably never would have heard of him had we not read his book.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Newest favorite character?
Ooh, hold on, let me find it. I wrote something down. And newest favorite character is... Okay, I have 3. In case anybody isn't looking for one.
Well, you missed some answers before, so this tracks. Let's hear them.
Okay.
We'll allow it.
I've got Lou the goat.
Lou. He is the goat, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've also got the Shadow Daddy, but not the Shadow Daddy that everyone else's Shadow Daddy is, but the Shadow Daddy where he kidnapped that lady who was pretending to be the queen, but she wasn't really the queen.
Liar's Crown?
What's that?
Liar's Crown.
Liar's Crown?
Is that the one? Sure, absolutely. And then Hades, but not Hades, the guy with the tat dick.
Ivy and Bone? Cyrus?
Those are my 3. So
That
to
was
recap,
such a range.
we got Lou the goat.
Goats, Shadow Daddies, and Hell
I can't
Kings.
decide if my favorite character was this goat that headbutted everyone, or the dude who was basically the devil with a tattooed dick.
Or the kidnapping Shadow Daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
You've got range.
I got range. I think Shadow Daddy. He was very. You know what? He's the poor man's Zayden. I like him.
Okay. Ash?
Kaz.
Oh, yeah.
He only one-ups Lou the goat because Kaz talks.
Yeah.
Kaz has feelings. Kaz has opinions. Kaz is smarter than the average human.
So is Lou.
But Lou didn't talk. If he could have expressed those things in witty banter form.
Lou's opinionated.
Yeah. I just didn't hear it.
When you ask Lou.
I didn't hear it.
You ask, hey, Lou, how'd you feel about that spaghetti for dinner? He would say, bah.
Yeah. No, cool. But Kaz said sentences.
He didn't even have a mouth. Lou's got a mouth. Where did the noises come from?
Kaz didn't need a mouth or eyes.
It's magic. He didn't have ears either. What the hell? Like, let's go through.
Hold on. Plants can have ears. Have you not met corn? And potatoes could have eyes.
Kaz the spider plant is my favorite new character. I will worship the ground that he rolls on, and I would do anything for him.
And may his little dirt ball live forever.
His
root ball live forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of mad I didn't think of Kaz. Because Kaz is very up there.
Kaz.
But
that's because you don't have to, because you bought him. Yeah, you get your own.
I did, yeah. So my newest favorite character is from Throne of Glass series. It is Manon Blackbeak. And depending on how far you are, you may not know who that is.
I haven't read Throne of Glass at all yet.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay. So it's not going to be any spoilers. But it is... Manon Blackbeak is an iron teeth witch, and like I love the Baba Yaga mythology has her with iron teeth, so she feels like a Baba Yaga type witch. Manon Blackbeak needs to have her own book. If there is what's it called that you sign, go around when you want to get votes on something. Oh my God, words.
A petition.
A petition.
A petition.
Sorry.
Oh my God, words. Thank you. Yes. If there were a petition, like I would sign that and give it to SJM, please. Man in Blackbeak is a super interesting character with a super interesting story. And I'm not going to say more for anyone who hasn't read it, but Man in Blackbeak from the Throne of Glass series. Kelly?
So I also went with Kaz the Spider Plant.
Yes.
Hey! Nice. All right. A book that made you cry.
Every year I read this book, sometimes multiple times throughout the year, but it always makes me cry because I have to feel my feelings and I hate to feel my feelings. I prefer to be cold-hearted, but the book that makes me cry is The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. It is neither
Gets you right in the feels.
Yeah, it's not fiction at all. But yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
Be
be.
fiction.
I
Yeah.
hate feeling my feelings. Stuff them down. That's what I always say.
Yeah, feelings are hard. Ash?
So I went down a black hole at the beginning of the year, and I read a lot of the Rebecca Yarros contemporary romances, and The Last Letter annihilated me.
Okay.
Spoiler, Z.
Okay. For me, it was, I read the Kiss Quotient series or trilogy or whatever by Helen Huang. She's a writer with autism and she writes contemporary romance. They're mainly AAPI characters and they mainly, at least one of the characters in them has autism. And the Kiss Quotient was amazing. And the Bride Test was amazing. The third book in that series, The Heart Principle, made me cry, and I was not prepared for it because I expect a happy ever after or a happy for now in a romance book, and I was deceived.
Tricked.
I was hoodwinked, and it was fucking tragic,
Devastating.
and I was not prepared for it.
Those romance authors still
I
get
did
you.
not consent to that.
Is this like Love on the Spectrum in fantasy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are not fantasy. This is contemporary romance.
I have no idea what that means.
It just means like regular, ordinary.
oh,
like
so
a
it's just
rom-com.
regulation Love on
Yeah.
the Spectrum.
There's no tattooed penises and
You
shadow
don't know that.
daddies.
Are they pulling their pants off? You don't know that.
I mean,
All right, Kelly.
I don't have a book that
Okay.
for this one.
Okay.
pass.
A book that made you happy.
Every time I read it, Green Eggs and Ham. I keep a copy by my desk and I use it. Pro tip, if you ever have to do a presentation and you get a little bit of stage fright, just read something by Dr. Seuss. It'll reframe your mind.
Science.
Science. What? What you got, Ash?
This is going to be a surprise to no one. The entire Stay a Spell series. 10 out of 10 recommend. They were all delightful. They were all spicy. They were all romantic. They were all fantasy. I will recommend that until my dying day.
If you had to pick your favorite one, what would it be?
Ooh, I think Ruben and Jules,
Okay.
the second to the last one. The Clara story was very, very nice. I enjoyed where that one went.
That's the last one,
But
right?
yeah, the last
Yeah,
one.
same, yeah.
But I think when I got to Jules and Ruben, there had been so much buildup, even as a side story, and the previous books before theirs, that I was itching like a crackhead. Like I needed to know, and they didn't force you to wait either. It wasn't that kind of slow burn,
Right. Slow burn had
there
already
was
happened.
There was passion. And there was commitment, and there was, just faith in each other, this overwhelming, unwavering faith. So yeah, Resting Witch Face is that one.
Yeah.
Jules and Ruben
Okay.
made me happy.
For me, it was The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, which we've just talked about.
Fuzzy feeling.
Yep. Kelly?
I don't know. It's either between Wolf Gone Wild or The Spell Shop because both of them were humorous and were fun reads.
Yeah. All right. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year.
I make my own beautiful books. I like to take the trophy book, or sorry, I like to take the books that people enjoy. If we think back on it, do you know how many first edition Fourth Wings I have torn apart and rebound and recovered?
Don't let Rebecca hear you.
She's seen it. I put it on Instagram. It's like, hey, Rebecca.
Yeah, but she doesn't know you've got like 5 or 20 of them.
I keep doing them.
I mean, you buy them.
Whatever I want.
So
Yeah, I buy them. And then I just like, I don't know, when you take the dust jacket off of them, they don't look cool, and I just like to make them look cooler.
Sometimes they do.
No, they don't. They all look junky.
I can prove you wrong right now.
No, I'm not interested in you doing that. What did you have on your list, Ash? What's the most beautiful book?
Actually,
is it one of the
that's
ones I
the one
made
that
you?
I was going to prove to you. So the most beautiful book that I bought, because you've made me books, I didn't buy them.
You don't like the ones that made you?
But I didn't buy them. I didn't buy them. You bought them.
No cock for you.
Was Five Broken Blades, and I think her name is pronounced Mai Corland, and forgive me if I've butchered that. I have a very minimal idea of what this book is even about, but it is so beautiful. The edges are sprayed. The dust jacket is lovely. You take the dust jacket off, and the actual hardback book itself has design on it. And I don't know when I'm going to read this book. It's on my shelf because it's beautiful, and I bought it simply for that reason.
okay. For me, it's the Lit Joy Crate version of Ella Enchanted that we talked about a few episodes back. It's so pretty. Kelly?
I don't know that I've bought any books I would consider beautiful this year.
Okay. All right. Books you need to read by the end of the year.
How to Draw Adorable. It's a book that mixes reading and drawing. I had to buy the tangible version, the analog, so that I could
actual book.
follow. Yeah, because I got to follow.
You can't
along with it.
audiobook How to Draw
No,
Adorable.
you can't. You need to, yeah.
That would be a YouTube video.
It's the only book that hurts my shoulder. It's not even that heavy. You got to draw. Draw from the shoulder, she says. Anyway,
But relax. It shouldn't be that
Think
tight.
about it.
You got to relax.
oh, not that tight. I'm gripping the stick too tight. What you got, Ash?
I need to finish the ACOTAR series because I have not. I think I've gotten through book 3, and then I panicked that I only had 2 left. And I wasn't sure how my heart was going to survive that. And I also started to read the Atlas Complex, which is book 3 in the Atlas 6 series. And I didn't get to finish it. I very much want to finish the Atlas Complex.
Okay. For me, it's the rest of the Dustwalker Brides books by Opal Rain, Kushiel's Dart series, which a bunch of people recommended. It's an older series, Kushiel's Legacy, and then also Crescent City by SJM. Kelly?
Books I need to read by the end of the year: Core Radiology, A Visual Approach to Diagnostic Imaging.
That sounds so
Delightful.
Kelly. Are there pictures?
Lots of pictures.
Okay, well then.
It's radiology, right? I mean, it's all about imaging.
Prayers, Kelly.
It's
Sorrows
just a
and
flip.
prayers.
It's just a
Yes,
flip book.
Sorrow's Prayers. Favorite book to movie adaptation?
So I definitely twisted it to fit whatever I wanted there, right? So this is a commercial to television series adaptation. Ted Lasso.
Oh,
Started with
I
a
love
commercial?
Ted Lasso.
It was just a commercial
I did
character.
not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Solid choice, though.
Oh, such a good series. Ash?
What you got, Ash?
So I twisted mine into a TV series, and for me it was Bridgerton.
Okay.
I think the TV series of Bridgerton is so much
That was
better
a book.
for me than the books.
It's
The
a book
books
series.
were
Yeah.
not an easy, like I struggled, and I couldn't tell you
Yeah.
why. They weren't poorly written. I just think Shonda Rhimes is a genius, and everything she touches turns to gold,
Yeah.
and she will make any story infinitely better.
Yeah. The
We
Bridgerton
stand
TV
Shonda
show,
Rhimes.
so much better. Bridgerton TV show
Shondaland all day.
exponentially better than the books. Yes.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the Paulin story this season. The book itself, I actually think was better than the two before it, and while they deviated in the series, there are noticeable deviations, right? And that will piss off a lot of the readers. I enjoyed them. I did not mind the changes, the updates.
Okay. For me, the only one I could even think of, book to movie that's happened this year, because I couldn't think of any, was Dune. I thought Dune was well done. So.
I was surprised Jonathan didn't say Dune.
I don't really like the movies.
Oh, why do you watch them so much?
Because I like the story.
I don't understand.
It's like, okay. I don't know. It's like one of those movies, like, I like it, but I don't know if I like it. I don't have a way to explain it.
I love Zendaya. I will watch probably anything that she's in. She can do no wrong.
They're doing another Euphoria, you know that?
I have not watched Euphoria, but I know that it is like top tier. It's
so good.
It's on my list.
So dark, but so good. Okay, Kelly.
Shh.
Dune.
Yeah.
I think that's really the only option there.
Yep. All right. Anything else anybody wants to say before we wrap it up?
I feel like we've said so much.
I agree. All right. So thanks for listening to Of Swords and Soulmates. Before we go, make sure to check out the show notes, rate and review us on your podcast app of choice, and follow us on Instagram at Of Swords and Soulmates. We're also on Blue Sky and Threads with the same username, or join our Facebook page of Swords and Soulmates, or on our website of swordsandsoulmates.com, and also on YouTube, same username. If you'd like to offer a suggestion for a future rapid fire question, reach out to us on any of those options. Or if you'd like to offer a suggestion for what we should read, please reach out to us. If you'd like to read along with us as we prep for a new episode, follow us on Goodreads at Of Swords and Soulmates.